day in the penalty phase of the Parkland shooter's trial, a BSO sergeant and former crime scene detective identifying the rifle Nikolas Cruz used to kill 17 and injure 17 others at Stoneman Douglas High School. We also heard from the Uber driver who gave Cruz a ride to the school on the day of the massacre.
I picked him up and he comes in the car and he told me he was going to his music class. He had a big, well, right now I know it's a backpack, but for me in that time it was a case.
The 12 jurors will have to consider each victim and vote on whether Cruz deserves to die.
And without a unanimous vote, the judge cannot sentence Cruz to the death penalty. Local 10's CHRISTINA VAZQUEZ live down in Fort Lauderdale with the latest from court today. Christina.
And just a short time ago, some really difficult testimony once again for some of the family members of the murdered in this case. You will see very shortly holding each other's hands and supporting each other as some today heard doctors explain how their loved ones died.
Is that the rifle that you collected on the third floor stairwell?
Yes, sir.
In lead prosecutor Michael Satz's hand, the murder weapon.
Smith & Wesson MP15 rifle.
BSO Sergeant Gloria Crespo told jurors when she found the AR-15 style rifle on the third floor stairwell of Marjorie Stoneham Douglas, it was loaded
And ready to be fired.
Family members of the murdered holding hands in court during difficult testimony detailing fatal wounds.
It proceeded to pass through the upper part of the right lung.
When Broward's deputy chief medical examiner starts reviewing the autopsy findings for Nikolas Cruz, his mom begins tearing up during the testimony. The physical evidence in this case.
Spent shell casings.
Collected from the hallways and classrooms where 17 MSD students and staff were shot and killed. Another 17 hurt, to include Justin Colton.
I have a couple fragments still in my lower back.
With his testimony this morning, jurors have now heard from all 17 staff and students who were shot and survived.
I can't do some motions with my motions like working out.
You were going to go straight. He told you to turn left.
Yes.
And jurors met Laura Zucchini.
He was on the phone.
The Uber driver who took the shooter to the school that day, she thought he maybe had a guitar case.
He told me he was going to his music class.
On cross, Assistant Public Defender Tamara Curtis asking her a question related to his possible state of mind.
And do you remember Mr. Cruz being anxious and nervous when you dropped him off?
Yes.
And the day ended with the jurors in this case looking at some very graphic evidence. It included testimony from a medical examiner that was explaining one particular murder victim, Peter Wang, the injuries he suffered and faced, and seeing companion photos of that. Keep in mind that we already know from lead prosecutor Mike Satz from that opening statement that he was shot 13 times. So that just concluded a short time ago. Court resumes tomorrow. Reporting live for you, I'm CHRISTINA VAZQUEZ, Local 10 News.
Another very difficult day. Thank you, Christina. And you can watch live coverage of this trial from gavel to gavel every day on local10.com, our social media pages, and the Local 10 Plus app on your smart TV. And we have an in-depth section right now on local10.com. Follow this QR code to find a timeline of events, stories on each of the 17 victims, and hear the testimony from the injured. Scan the code to go directly to that section only on local10.com.